Next project is digging up this front lawn. Whew, and chucking it in that skip. Step one. And that is how much we got in the skip. Absolutely brimmed. This stuff is all the monocouche on the side of the house, and it went off fairly quickly. Luckily I didn't need it anyway, obviously overbought, but expensive, but hey ho. Yeah, level. Can't be bothered with them arguing. But yeah, all the stuff from the garden has gone in here, and all this. Managed to get it all in. Can't really tell the scale of the picture, but it's about a foot deep. Then it tapers down. There's a lot of work. Anyway. I just finished this off with the shovel, cut it out, and then I've hit solid clay. So I've just been through with the auger again just to lift it all up so that the roots don't rot. And now I need to dig this acer up and move it over here. I'll take this weed barrier up first and chuck it in the bin because it's been here for ages. It's starting to perish with the UV. Well, similar sort of strategy with this. I'll drill around it with the auger and then I'll dig it out with the shovel. It literally takes about 5 minutes with the auger. It's an awesome little tool. So that's finished. All this is cleared off in the skip. Skip's gone. That weed barrier is perished, so that's gone in the bin. I've dug some holes, as you can see. The acer tree was there and struggling. Didn't realise how big these were going to get, so I've moved that, or how big that was going to get. I'm going to move that there. And there was a camellia behind the palm, that's going to go there. And then there was also a fern. There's one here which I think I've binned off because I was struggling too much. That one was fine, and that one's going to go there. So next job is weed barrier down. Unfortunately I can't dig the hole for the water feature for the buckets yet because they're just not turning up as quickly as they should do. I won't have too much of a rant about Amazon, but not everything that's supposed to be prime coming next day comes next day anymore, and every are a bag of shit. So I'm still waiting for these buckets to turn up. So there'll be 3 there, 1 over here I think, and I'll connect them all together. But I can't wait because these plants are going to die if I don't pot them back out now and give them a lot of water. And also the bulbs are going to start growing back in the edge in here for all the bluebells that were there, so I need to get them covered with the weed barrier quick. I don't really want to put any weed killer down because I don't want to affect the hawthorn and the leylandy hedges there. So enough yapping. I'm going to get the weed barrier laid out and I can cut the holes out for these plants. Before I carry on, I just wanted to show the hole that I've dug here. Yes, it absolutely does look like a massive cock, and that is completely unintentional but hilarious at the same time. There you go. This, it can't really get the scale. Should we dump the camera in? It is very deep, and it keeps going and it keeps going. So the idea is these 3 get connected together with some solvent weld connectors, and then the pipe shoots over there where the pump will sit in the bucket over there, and then to keep it all self-contained, a pipe will come back through and then up in the middle of the water feature here, so that you can't see it and the pipe's not running on through the bark. It's a little bit more of a faff, but it's a better solution I think. And there you have it. So it's much easier doing this before I put the weed barrier down. That bit's done, that bit's done. So I need to do this, and I've got to do it tonight, otherwise these plants are going to die. So I'm going to crack on, and I'll show you what it looks like when I finish tomorrow morning, when there's a bit more light. Okay, it's the next morning, and this is where we're at. All the berries down. Ace has moved over to here. I tell you, the amount of times I fell in this hole here because it was dark. Comical. That's moved, the fern's moved to there, and the camellia's moved over there. I've run out of weed pegs, barrier pegs, so I need to get some more, but it's all pinned in enough for the minute, but I just want it filled in a bit more. And that's where we're looking. Next job is to jet wash the wall down here, so I can stick some wood on here to fix the terminal box. So whilst I've got the jet wash out, I'm going to clean the rocks, the slate that's going to get stacked for the water feature. There's 9 pieces. This costs a total of 36 quid, which I thought was a bargain really. Some really nice colours to it, blues, greys, coppery, orangey, red colours in it. And for some reason, I seem to already have some of this. Might be a local product knocking about. These two anyway, these two are the same. This one actually, yeah, it might be the same, it's just a blue, more blue. So I can fill bits in where I need to sort of hide the pipe if I need to. So I'll get all this cleaned up with the jet wash whilst I've got it out. Just look at the colours. Camera doesn't do it justice really, colours and the shapes. You see in the oranges, some sort of iron oxide. So that's that all jet washed up, just cleaned around the edge here a little bit. I'll do the driveway at another point. All that jet washed. All the way to the back there. So next job is not to fall down this hole. This spalding post here, not fussed about it, it's structurally fine at the moment. Someday, yes, it will fail, but probably not during my time here. I'm going to get a piece of wood, I'm going to cut an angle on it for the drain to drip off, and I'm going to glue it using some polyurethane glue, and that'll give me something, it'll hide that, and I'll some tannalised wood so it'll last, and I'll paint it using the same Osmo stuff I've got on the garage. But it'll also give me something to fix to with the junction box for the pump and the solar lights. So that's next. Okay, that's that piece of wooden. Curved at the top just to help with the drips, the rainfall, and then glued with polyurethane glue. It's absolutely rock solid. It's not coming off. I'm not going to touch it. It's still wet. Just wanted to show you what it is that I used. Osmo one coat only, high solid plus. So it's a pigmented, waxy product, and basically you can just top this up in a few years without having to sand. It's good stuff. It's what I've got on the garage. Expensive. It's about 100 quid a tin, but saves on future labour, so I'm all for it. So that's that. I'll let that dry a little bit, and then we'll screw on the junction box towards the bottom there. There's the box. I believe this glows in the dark. I'll test that. Not really want it to be seen, to be honest. Might have to put a padlock on this because essentially there'll be 2 sockets in it, so I don't want to be tapping into it. That's it. I sacked off the 2 fixing hooks that came with it because I didn't want to counterband it. I thought it'd look ugly. I just didn't want it to be able to lift off anyway, so I've used 4 aluminium roofing screws with the rubber washers on the back, but I put like CT1 behind them all as well to create a rubber seal behind it, so a little bit flexible the whole thing, but it's not coming off. It'll be fine. So it does have some entries for wire, cable entries, and I'm not sure if it's going to work with the armoured cable that I've got. I'll give it a test, see if I can get that to bend down there, and if this is wide enough. If not, I'll have to drill and pop a gland on the side, probably here. I'll have to melt some of this out to make it flat. So let's get on with the wiring. Okay, so that's the wiring done. Box is on, screwed on. Got the Wago box, three-way goes, three-way way goes inside, and 2 plugs coming off with 2 timers. One's for the water feature and one's for the solar lights in the garden. And it's all tested, working no problem, and it's just extended off an existing outdoor socket, so it's not a new wire, so the electricians can calm down. Anyway, the buckets have turned up, so I can get on with the plumbing for this. And I've also been to the garden centre again today, just to get some more plants and a bush to fill in some of the gaps. I was still on the hunt for some decent big boulders, rocks, for the Rockery area. It's late again, so apologies, the light's terrible, but just as I was burying the massive cock, just wanted to show you before I did it. So you've got three buckets, they're all connected, and just connected using these solvent weld tank connectors, so they screw in from the other side, and I can show you that tomorrow when there's light. And then from this side it's solvent weld, and this is like overflow pipe. Should be fine because it'll be buried, so frost wise it should be fine. These 3 are all connected, but really, and they're connected in that one to that one, then to that one, but they only need to connect in that one and that one. Connected them all together just for strength, so I could lift it in as one piece nice and easy, but it's rock solid. So I'm just backfilling now. I don't have enough gravel. I've got a lot of gravel in the bag over there, which I'm going to put over the top, so this is recessed a couple of inches so that this can just be gravel, and then the rocks for the water feature can go on top of that, and then it can all just drain through. But I don't have enough to backfill with gravel and do the top, and I'm not that bothered, to be honest with you, because if this is all soil, you could just lift these buckets out as it rains in and sets its own shape, so it's not the end of the world. But again, that's for somebody else to worry about in the future if they decide they don't want a full water feature once we sell a house. If I have got enough gravel though, we'll just backfill this with gravel, so I'll probably do that first and backfill that. But if not really that fussed, I'll just backfill it all with the soil that came out. So I'll show you tomorrow with a bit more light. Hopefully you can see, because it really is pitch black now. It's all packed in now. This is more like clay than anything. Don't know if that's going to help or hinder its performance, but there you go. Just to show you what I was talking about before, there's the pipes. This is where it'll be serviced from when the pump goes in. So I've just drilled the lids with these holes. These will go back on. And I've got 2 layers of stainless mesh that will get draped over the top before the gravel goes down, just to act as a bit of a filter for any crap. There we go. Okay, so next day. This is all in now. Double mesh, all trimmed in. Using the best tool in the world, the Milwaukee brushless rotary tool with the Dremel wand, flexible wand attachment, and the cut-off wheel. Amazing. And then I've just tidied up the edges of all the weed barrier with the second best tool in the world for this job anyway, Dremel little soldering iron with the blowtorch attachment on it. You can just melt it. I'll just insert a little clip here where you can see how good it is. But I didn't actually use this to cut it, I used this, the plastic welding tool, to cut. But I'd probably just use this in future because it melts it more, does a better job. So that's it now. The hose is run through, clipped in. I need to wash the gravel and then pour the gravel on. That's the gravel on, everything nice and clean, packed down. And I think I'm going to come and test fit where I want to put the rocks. Ideally I want a sort of like a waterfall so it drips back into the bucket. Don't really want to drill a hole through the top one and poke that out, although it would look quite good shooting out. It's a bit more obvious and all the effort that's gone into it, but we'll see if we can up the flow, up the pressure, flow, whatever, speed of the pump to make it obvious there's a lot of water gushing out. So let's get the rocks, place them on and have a play around. Okay, that's the first fit. Try to stack it in that sort of impossible way, like where it gets smaller, it gets bigger towards the top, rather than just make it sort of a pyramid shape would be a bit obvious. So at the minute the hose is just temporarily looped out just so I can get decent length and placement. The only way to hide it completely is either drill down the middle, which would be a nightmare and I might risk just them crumbling apart, or is to use a triangle. It's like 3 rocks, but I don't have enough to get the height that I want, and realistically the viewing angle is like there anyway, so I'll either leave this loose or try and hide it by sticking some rock on it or something like that. But at the minute I'm just going to test fitment on it, so I'm just going to fill the service bucket up, see what it's like for holding water, and then we'll plug the pump in and give it a test and see how it trickles. The idea being it sort of trickles out of here and down the face and down all these faces and back into at least these 2 buckets here, and off it goes. I can adjust the flow rate on the pump. I think there's 4 settings on it, so we'll have a play around. Let's give it a go. Just quickly, here's the pump. Again, this is something Amazon sent me for free to review, so I thought I'd make use of it. It wasn't that expensive. If you can pick it up, it's 50 watts on its max setting, 3.3 meter height lift, I think, and obviously it's 230 volts and it's IP68, so it's fully submersible, and you can choose whether it takes water out the bottom there or out the side just by flipping that little rocker. Sorry, got distracted there as a delivery. So yeah, it's got a little quick release suction cup out the bottom there. You can just slide that into. It suctions down, and then you can set the flow rate here and try it on the lowest first. And then it comes with some these I took to the garden centre just to try and measure up some holes. Comes up with 3 attachments. So this is the pipe. I'll leave full length for the minute. And it just pushes onto this barb here. So let's fill her up, give it a test. Okay, here we are. That's what we're looking at so far. Looks quite good, sounds good. Not exactly how I want it, but just limited with the shape. Everything's got a drip back into there. Top stone looks dry, obviously. That's what's capping it off, so I'll probably paint that with some oil so it looks the same and as wet as the rest. And so it's just temporarily rigged up. I need to trim the hose and hide it on the back here. Water levels worry me a little bit because it was dropping. I was wondering if there's a leak. I think the system is slightly on a slant, downwards it must be, so that the highest point of the system is over here. So yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on it. Hopefully we've got no leaks, because that'd be catastrophic. I'd have to pull it all out and test it and see where we're getting a leak from. But I think I'm just going to run it for a bit, leave it go in and make sure everything's good. Quick update. All the extra plants are in. We've got one there. We've got one there. One there. There. And there. So next is we'll test this overnight. The water level's not dropped with the pump not on, which means it's not leaking. But the recirculation just need to improve on making sure all the water goes into the 3 buckets, because obviously there's that gap in the middle that I need to avoid with the drips, but you know, inevitably if it's splashing out a little bit, it's going to lose a bit of water over time, a bit of evaporation. Hopefully the rain will top it up, but it's not been raining for ages. So what I've decided to do is there'll be a soaker hose that runs through all the plants, so I'm going to put a Y piece on it, and the soaker hose comes on every night for half an hour. And what I'm going to do is run a piece of hose to this float valve, which I've just cut a garden connector and off, which will screw into the lid at the top, put on a quick connector for a garden hose. But these 90 degrees, which are not very common, that pops on the top, and then the hose will shoot off to the Y piece, and for the half an hour that the soaker hose is on, this will be charged and it'll fill it, and it turns off when the level gets to here. And I've tested it level and it seems pretty good because it's just below this pipe here, so that'll just top it up every day just in case there's any loss, but won't, you know, waste water if it's not on all the time. So I just need to, I'm going to test it in this lid that I broke first, make sure the height's fine, and then I'll drill it into that lid. Also, the pressure on this pump, even on the lowest setting, is really high, and it's sort of shooting the water out a bit more than I'd like. Again, not helping the recirculation situation. So with the test of the hose long, 3 meters, it was fine, but obviously you've got a pressure drop resistance. There's a lot of resistance because the tube was really long, so when I've chopped it, it's even worse. So again, what I'm going to do is put in a reducing sort of ball valve inside here, so I can get it to exactly where I want. And nicely, this stuff that I got from the garden centre is exactly the same hose diameter as just regular 13mm hose pipe, so everything fits on really nicely. So that's the next job. Just in case I don't explain it very well, that's how it sits. Okay, so we've got this plumbed in. See that Y piece over there? And just to simulate a low water level, just lift the lid. There you have it. Just once a day, I'll just give it a quick top up. So I'm quite pleased with that. I'm going to get on with the restrictor valve. Okay, so you can see I've got this valve in here, just restricting it a little bit, and this just tucks away nicely in there. And this is how we're looking. Looks good to me. So the next job is in the lid. I need to put an IP68, what do they call them? Grommets? What are they called? Can't remember what they're called. For this wire to go through. Again, it doesn't really need to be watertight, because if anything it'll help if the water fills this up as well, and I was contemplating putting some extra holes in there to help with the rain going through, and putting mesh on as well, which I might do. But for a minute I need to put this wire in so I can shut the lid, but that means I'm going to have to chop the plug and thread it through. Doesn't really matter because this will be inside the box, not watertight anyway. So that's the next job. There it is. Just need to put the plug on this side. Right, I'm going to run this for quite a while just to make sure that the level doesn't drop too much over the course of a day. Obviously the biggest issue being making sure that the water goes into the 3 buckets. If I was to do it again, I'd get one huge one, or I'd buy something bespoke for it, but I just wanted to see if I could make it up and do it myself, because that's just the way I work. So yeah, I don't really want to chop this hose until I know exactly where these rocks are going to go. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to do something a bit more exciting, which is 6 of these. They drop down to 12 volts, and there's sort of 6 here, but you can extend it an extra 2. So so we'll see how we get on with this amount first. And obviously we won't see it till tonight. At full transparency, just wasn't happy with the retention on it. So I've pulled it all apart and I've just decided to pour some concrete from, which will be on a gradient from here to here. Just chuck these little weed pegs in as little mini rebars. So yeah, I'm going to put some rapid set concrete in and some waterproof over the top, and that'll just direct, you know, 99% of it all back into the bucket, so I'll be much happier then. So let's get pouring. So this is how it's looking. Layer of concrete, 2 layers of a Sika branded waterproofer, which is a cement based waterproofer. Proper overkill. I've also made it bigger just to make sure all the water goes into that area, but as I said, if you're going to do this again, if I was going to do it again, if you're going to do it, learn from my mistakes, I'd probably just buy something, a big tank that would go here with a grid on it, but just playing around with things that I had at the house. So and I've also cut the mesh down just on here because I just think it's overkill now. So this will direct the water in there, that just stops the gravel falling through. So I've got to reassemble it all, and I'm going to flush it all through a few times and make sure it's all clean, and that's it. We've also got the soaker hose in now, which weaves around all the plants, and I've also got the solar lights in, 6-pack, and I bought an extra 2. Well, I bought an extra pack, I just sold 2 out of it because they're really expensive for 2 of them, and that's it. So wait for the bark, which should be turning up tomorrow, so I can do that tomorrow night. That should be looking good to go. Oh, and rocks. I'm waiting for a guy to get back to me about some rocks for this rockery here. Ideally get them in first, and some little small rockery plants around, but he's not getting back to me, so we'll just have to see. Quick interim update. I won't show you this one because I've already cleaned it. I've picked up 9 more rocks from the garden centre to hide the back of the tube on the water feature, and then I've gone and picked up locally from some guy, getting rid of some of these massive boulders for the rockery. He wanted £2 each for them. He was getting rid of a load of them, so I just picked up the biggest I could find, chucked them in the centre, took 4. So there you go. This would look really nice for some small shrub sort of plants around. So I'm going to jet wash these up, I'm going to lug them into place, and I'll show you once they're done. And this is them cleaned up, that's where they're going to go. This is my favourite. That's my favourite rock. I didn't do it justice enough on the camera. The layers of colours. And it's just twinkling like glass. It's sand. Sandstone. This one. Flat one there. This one's ace as well. I kind of wish I'd got a 5th one to plant there, but I'm going to get a plant instead that you'll be able to see poking up behind the feature there. So that's it. Next job, I've got some more stones for the back here, just so I can hide this tube as best I can. This is just temporary, wedge it down. So I'll take these off and then try and stack them, and if I need to, just put a bit of UV black expanding foam just to lock it all in place. And then we need some small plants for the rockery area, and then I'm waiting for 2 more bags of the wood bark to come. This is 2 bags, we need 2 more, 2 bags full. That's coming next Monday. And there she is, done. Last bag, 2 bags of the bark chipping stuff turned up today. And I can't remember what I showed in the last video, so all the plants are in now. All the extra ones. Yeah, no, I don't think I showed these. These are now. Got some here. That one's there. And some behind there that will grow from behind there. So that's it. That's a wrap on this one. And I'll just insert some footage at night time so you can see the spotlights. But I'm going to call it there for the front garden for a while. There's a little bit more work to do. We've got the roses there which are coming through nicely now, but this rose is doomed to die. It's got an infection crown gall. So at some point it's going to die. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's looking good at the minute. I'm going to move this into the back garden and put something else here. But I'm not doing that at the minute. I've got too much to do on the cars. I've got to jump over to car mode and do something on the Discovery in the back garden. So that's probably the next video that you'll see. Depends on the order I do things. But that's it. I'll put some footage of it at night and then we'll call it there. Oh, and just lastly, these palms. Look at the flower on that. That's the craziest flower I've ever seen. Look at the size of it. And the whole garden, like I can smell it in the back garden, it's that strong. And it's got one over on that side as well. Amazing.